How you doing, folks? It's Dermot here from Technological University Dublin, the School of Culinary Arts and Food Technology. Today we're going to look at hot cross buns, bun dough in particular. So let's get started. So let's get into the main question that's asked here about flour. What is the difference between strong flour and plain flour? And the answer is gluten. You know that stuff everyone's intolerant to, or lots of people are? Well, gluten, effectively, is like chewing gum. Some flour, through the way it's grown and the clay and the earth that it's grown in, develops only a little amount of gluten. Other flour develops a lot of gluten. And we differentiate that. So, the effect it actually has is very much like chewing gum. Let me show you. We have two types of chewing gum. We have the gum that we can chew that doesn't make bubbles, and we have the gum that we chew that makes big bubbles. Either way, we need to chew it like we need to knead bread. Okay? So this one here is the equivalent of the plain flour, where it doesn't have that elasticity in it. This one here, if we chew it long enough, it has loads of elasticity in it, so when we go to put gas through it or air through it, it'll blow a rather big bubble. If you attempt to do it with this one here, you're not going to get very far. So this type of flour we use for cake baking. This one here we use for bread baking, okay, as in strong flour and plain flour. Now, let me prove the point to you. If we dip our hand, I'm going to do this with strong flour, and I wash it. Very simple. We ask ourselves the question, what is gluten, guys? Well, we can actually see it. And as I wash off all the flour through my hands, the flour washes off, and we're left with, guess what? The chewing gum. And there we have it. And that is the cause of so many people's problems. They simply cannot digest this. It's just like hubba bubba, chewing gum. So there you have it, guys. When you use the strong flour, it will create great elasticity so that when your yeast gets in contact with the nice warm milk, it'll create gas and develop a big bubble so that your dough expands, or what we call proves, and it makes it nice and light and soft. And that's it for today. Hopefully that explains to you the difference between strong flour and plain flour. Always remember, it's just like chewing gum. Take care. So firstly, we're going to break it down into three sets of ingredients. The first are the dry ingredients. This is the flour. Now, very important, it's got to be strong flour. So we've got 500 grams of strong flour. We've got 1 tablespoon of salt, which I'm going to put into the flour on one side. And I'll tell you the reason for that now in a second. The next ingredient is the sugar, and we're going to put the sugar in there as well. All the dry ingredients together. And last but not least is the yeast. I'm using dried yeast because people at home, when they're doing this, that's the easiest way to find it. Fresh yeast is better, doesn't have such a strong smell after it. However, it can be quite difficult to find. Good Polish supermarkets sell it. So I'm going to put the yeast into the bowl on the opposite side to where I put the salt, because salt will kill yeast. The second set of ingredients are the wet ingredients, and they are the milk, which will be 300 mils, the butter, which is 60 grams, and then we've put some orange zest in there as well, just for a bit of flavour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the microwave, and we're going to melt it till it's nice and warm and fully melted, and then we're going to add the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. Next set of ingredients I have here are the flavors. The fruit, the sultanas, and the mixed spice. Now you can change those spices up to use cinnamon on your own, depending on your own spice that you like. But that will be the main flavor. And then I'm going to move across to the finishing aspect of it, where we have a look in here. This is the cross on the hot cross bun. So have a look at this. This is simply flour and water, plain flour and water this time, not strong flour, made and whipped up with a spoon till it's that gooey, pasty consistency. And then we're going to stick that in a little piping bag and pipe the crosses on just before we bake it in the oven. As they come out of the oven, the last ingredient you'll need is a bit of sugar syrup, but we're just going to use a little bit of marmalade melted down. I'm going to brush them with that to give them a nice sticky shine. On the equipment side of things, we're going to use a machine. And this particular machine has a hook, that's called a dough hook, and that's going to be used for kneading. So this is the attachment that you need, and basically that's it. We'll go to stage 3 now in 1 second. So here we are. All the dry ingredients are in the bowl. You can see everything. We have the yeast, which is the dark grey here on the left, and the salt opposite on the right, the sugar and the flour. And all I'm going to do is add all the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. Now the wet ingredients I have put in the microwave, mixed together. It's not overly hot, but it's melted. So we're just going to pour that in there. And turn the machine on nice and slow to start, just to begin gathering it together. And there we have it, nicely mixed. And you'll notice when we take that up, whoa, it's quite gooey and sticky, but that's exactly the way we want it. We'll just push it off nice and easily, like so. If there's any stuck to the bottom, just lift it out, just release it. And then we're going to add our egg and put it back on until the egg is fully incorporated. And off we go again. Now when the egg's fully incorporated, we're just going to lift it out again. Oh, look at that. And then we're going to add the fruit and the spice. And very gently give it a little turn in there, just till they're browned in. Don't mix it too fast or you'll break up all the sultanas. So just a nice low speed for about 30 seconds until it's incorporated. Okay, and that's the last stage done. Let's open up, see what we've got. Let's scrape down the hook. I'm going to twist out the bowl here. And we're going to release all that lovely sticky dough. And it is sticky, guys, it's meant to be. So don't worry about that. And that's why I use this spatula. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it in a bowl and we're going to leave it to prove, which is rise. And we've got to get it to double its size. So what do we do for that? We get some oil, just a tiny drop of oil on a piece of cling film, and a tiny drop of oil inside the bowl here that we're going to put it into. We're going to get some kitchen paper and literally wipe around the inside. You don't want loads of oil, you just want the tiniest smidgen of oil there, just to make it non-stick. And the same on the cling film here. There we go. We're going to take our dough, I'm going to scrape it out into that bowl. Try and get it all in one complete bowl. Nice bit in there. Okay, here we have it. So it definitely won't stick now because we got the oil, and then we just take our cling film which we put oil on, and we're just going to literally drape it over. Whatever you do, don't seal it, because that dough wants to double in size, so let it double in size. So we've just put the oil side down in order to let it double. And there you have it. That's the finished hot cross bun dough. Now, the yeast is going to activate inside there, because yeast activates when you give it some food, and particularly when you give it some warmth. So we've got that warm milk and the butter in there. And we're just going to leave it in a nice warm place. I leave it in the window if it's during the day and the sun's there, or you can leave it on top of your stove or in a hot press and come back. It's going to take at least an hour to double in size. So let's see what it's like in an hour. And here we have it, doubled in size, and you can even see all the bubbles in there, guys. And I'm just going to lightly dust this little tray with flour on the table. Very, very lightly. Notice I'm dusting it. And there we have it. And what we're going to do is, let's have another look here. You can see all the yeast activating inside there, all the bubbles. So we're going to pull it out onto the table, and we're going to, with the term we use is knock it back. So we're going to knock the gas out of it. And literally, I'm not going to knead it. I'm just going to roll it till the gas comes out of it. And I'm going to roll it into a sausage. That's what I find is the easiest route and the easiest way to divide into particular sizes. You can see the sultanas coming out there. Just pop them back in, no problem. And then we can evenly divide. So we divide it in half. We divide it in half again, we divide it in half again, we divide them in half again, we divide them in half again. And although you may feel that they look reasonably good in size, we have to make them double in size again. So I'm actually going to make them and cut them in half again, because each one we make, we have to leave to double in size again. Okay, so we're just going to roll it on the table into its shape. I'm going to use this stone. You can use a baking tray with parchment paper. You can use pretty much whatever you normally use to bake with there. So we're going to have one in the center, and let's cut all the others so they're all the same size. I like to squeeze them up through my thumb and my index finger to get a bit of a round shape there. Press it in, put it beside it, and the same again. And we're going to continue this until the tray is full. And the important part is, leave it 1 centimetre or 2 apart so it's got room enough to grow and double in size and connect to each other. And there's the final one. And when you get them all in that nice shape, there's the gap between, so you've got a nice gap for them to double in size. They'll merge into each other, and all you have to do now is more patience. You just got to wait for double the size again. That can take anything from 20 minutes to 40 minutes. And just get yourself a nice towel and just cover them so they don't dry out, and just leave them to go. Hi, and we're back again. It's been approximately 45 minutes now, so let's have a look. Lovely. So you see they've pretty much doubled in size, and interesting thing about these now, as soon as we put these in the oven, they're going to grow immediately bigger for the first 2 minutes. Then the yeast will continue to expand the gas, and then eventually it's going to be so hot that the yeast will be killed, and it will set in the shape that it is and the size that they will be. So first of all, we're going to make the cross. So let's have a look. It's easier if we have a look at the mix. I put the mix that we made earlier that I showed you into a little piping bag. We're going to snip the end of that and put a cross on them. I like to just put a first indent just to have an idea where the cross is going to go. So you can see those lines there. Yeah, that's handy enough. And I'll put a bit of an X going the other direction, just so it'll give you a guideline on where to put it. Also, if your mix tends to be slightly runny, the groove will help it to give a bit of direction. There we go. Now we're going to take our piping bag. I'm just going to snip the end of it. So let's have a look. And there's the line. Don't be afraid to go the whole way. So lift and drag the whole way across, the whole way across, the whole way across. And it will just naturally fall level itself. Let's do that again on the next line with a little bit more speed. And here we go. Push our mix down a little further towards the end, and off we go in the other direction. Now, getting tight at the end, which should be just about perfect. Let's get the maximum out of it. One across there, one across there. Just about got it. Take it out, and we're going to go straight in the oven. Now, just a note, the oven is at 220 degrees just for the first 7 or 8 minutes. So that's going to help the dough to really elevate as soon as possible and as quick as possible. Now, it depends on your oven. Some ovens are hotter than others, despite the fact that it says 220. So what you really need to do is have a check after about 10 minutes, because they'll be perfectly risen then, and that they're not over browned. Now, some people like a really dark brown. Some people like a light brown. I like a light brown. If you like a dark brown, you can add a bit of egg wash onto the surface of the bun before you put the cross on it. So, let's see what it's going to turn out like. I'll catch you in about 10 minutes. And there we go. So, it's been 14 minutes in total here. Now, let's have a look at these. See the way they've naturally browned themselves? And just while they're still hot, we're going to get a little, you can choose the jam that you like. This is a bit of marmalade because there's a bit of orange peel in there already. So we're just going to give them that shine, that glazy shine there. And there we have it. Glazed hot cross buns. So folks, you got plenty of time before Easter to have a practice. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's not the easiest one to start with, but if you can perfect this, the next few videos we'll be sending you will be really, really easy. So it's goodbye for now, folks. Thanks for watching, and tune in to the next edition where we're going to be talking about chemical raising agents, not yeast, but chemical. So that's like soda bread and scones. Take care, guys.